Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the moon landing. But before we begin, I just wanted to give a special shout out to Blinkist for sponsoring this episode. For those of you who don't know, Blinkist is a very helpful app that allows users to understand the most important things from over 5,500 books and podcasts in just 15 minutes. With Blinkist, you can become who you want to be in 2023 by understanding life in a new way. In 2023, I'm trying to be better than I was the year before, so I can help more people who can't see the truth find the truth. Blinkist helps widen your knowledge on a variety of different topics in an exciting, entertaining way. In as little as 15 minutes, you can understand important facts on just about every topic you're interested in. Using Blinkist is extremely easy. All you have to do is search for a topic or a title you're interested in, and it will then provide you with the available options for what you're searching for. All you have to do is find a book or podcast you're interested in, and you would have either a readable or an audio experience available just like that. Blinkist is about understanding the material in nonfiction books so that you can discover new perspectives and broaden your horizon, which can lead to having new exciting conversations. I actually used Blinkist for this video, as I found information on there that helped me understand why America was so eager to declare they traveled to the moon. Blinkist has great titles on the moon landing and space travel in general. I checked out Shoot for the Moon, which I recommend you guys do as well on the Blinkist app, as it has so much information on America's reason behind space travel. They also recently added a new feature called Blinkist Connect that allows premium members to share their membership with another person completely free. This means you basically get 2 accounts for the price of one, which is actually pretty cool. If you're interested in Blinkist and you want to further support my channel by supporting my sponsors, make sure you use the link in the description to get 7 days for free and 25% off an annual subscription. Special thanks to Blinkist for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get right into it. In the 50s, Russia was the first country to successfully send satellites to space. This was a massive achievement and sparked what is now called the space race between the Soviet Union and the United States. Since Russia has succeeded in sending satellites to space, this meant America was trailing behind the Soviets in the space race. In the 1960s, America was determined to beat Russia in the space race by any means, and they had just a plan to do so. America had dedicated its time and resources to achieving what was deemed the impossible, sending humans to the moon and returning them back safely. On July 1969, the United States Apollo 11 was the first crewed mission to land on the moon. 2 American astronauts, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin, were the first to walk on the moon, and they placed the American flag down on the moon's crust. For 2.5 hours, a live broadcast was running from the moon, with over 500 million people watching the event live in amazement. Humans had just traveled and walked on the moon. According to NASA, America traveled to the moon a total of 6 times. While most of the country was celebrating this incredible achievement, a few people weren't so convinced. Some people felt that the footage of the astronauts landing on the moon wasn't footage filmed on the moon at all, but instead in a Hollywood movie studio. The first person to state that the moon landing was a hoax was Bill Kaysing, who was a writer working for the Rolling Stones in the 60s. Bill believed it just wasn't possible to travel to the moon and back safely with the technology available in the 60s. This led him to eventually write an entire book in 1976 called We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion swindle, detailing why he believed the moon landing was all a hoax. In Bill's book, he wrote about how NASA lacked the technological expertise to put a man on the moon and bring him back safely. One of his main arguments was that he felt the absence of stars in the lunar surface photographs was indicative of a hoax. Bill also felt that there was unexplained optical anomalies in the photographs taken on the moon. He also felt that what took place in 1967 on the Apollo 1 space mission, where the crew unfortunately passed away, was done intentionally to silence the astronauts who were supposedly going to expose space travel as a hoax. Bill became popular amongst those who weren't quite sure we traveled to the moon. Bill became known as the creator of the moon landing conspiracy theories that to this day live on. Years later, many people have started to doubt the moon landing for many different reasons. One of the main reasons is the moon landing footage. Maybe back in the 1960s, this footage might have appeared believable, but in 2023, this footage appears comical and very suspicious. The way the astronauts are moving in the footage just seems odd to me. It doesn't look real. It looks like edited footage. People also bring up the fact that we haven't sent humans back to the moon again since the so-called successful attempts in the 60s. How is it that we were able to travel to the moon 6 times in the 60s, but we can't seem to do it today, even with how advanced technology has become? The more that I look into the moon landing, the more that I believe we never went to the moon. I believe those who run our world had a sinister reason to stage the moon landing. Most people don't know that the Freemasons were actually behind the moon landing. Interestingly enough, Buzz Aldrin, one of the 2 men to go to the moon, was a member of the Freemasons. Everybody knows about the American flag being placed on the moon. What many people don't know is that Edwin actually traveled to space with a Scottish Rite Masonic flag given to him by the supreme leaders of Freemasonry. Buzz was instructed by the Supreme Council of Freemasons to take the flag to the moon and back. The Masonic flag sits at the Masonic House of the Temple Archives and Museum. The fact that most people don't know about this just shows this information isn't spoken about and it's hidden. This is one of the main reasons why I don't believe what we are told regarding the moon landing. If we take a listen to this Freemason that works at the museum where the flag is kept, we can see he openly admits the Masons were behind the moon landing.
Hi, I'm Joshua Poole, Museum Curator here at the Scottish Rite House of the Temple in Washington, D.C. Today it is my pleasure to be able to speak to you about the Scottish Rite flag that went to the moon in 1969. Knowing that Buzz Aldrin would be taking part in the Apollo 11 mission, the Supreme Council thought it would be nice if he could take something Masonic with him to infinity and beyond, because he was going where no man, or Mason for that matter, had ever gone before. See what I did there? The Supreme Council felt that a flag that represented the Supreme Council and Freemasonry in general would do the job. So the flag was hand-sewn by Inga Baum, who was the librarian of the Supreme Council in 1969. The flag itself is white silk. It is edged by a band of gold and embroidered with the words, the Supreme Council, 33rd degree, Southern Jurisdiction, USA, the Southern Jurisdiction motto, Deus me umque jus, the double-headed eagle, the crown of the 33rd degree, the insignia of the Grand Commander, and the insignia of a Master Mason. After the Apollo 11 mission on September 16, 1969, Buzz Aldrin visited the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., and presented the flag to Grand Commander Luther Smith. Since then, the flag has remained in the custody of the House of the Temple's Archives and Museum Department. In an article about the Buzz Aldrin flag, the December 1969 issue of the New Age magazine, the historical significance of the Apollo 11 mission and its meaning for Masonry were discussed. So, does the landing on the moon have anything to do with Masonry? I think this article put it nicely by ending with this quote: "When man reaches new worlds, Masonry will be there." This flag's presence during the historic lunar expedition symbolizes Masonry's universal appeal. Masonry has been at the forefront of progress and human enlightenment since its beginnings, and will continue to be. This flag serves as a reminder of this. So, Masonry will always be there and will continue to boldly go where no man has gone before.
As you heard for yourself, the museum guide admits the moon landing was important to the Masons. In my opinion, it could be because of moon magic, as we all know the Masons are occultists. Either way, to me, this 100% proves the Masons had their hand in the moon landing event. Many people think NASA and the government staged the moon landing in order to declare victory over Russia in the space race. But I think it's much deeper than that. In my opinion, the reason I believe it was done was to further guide people away from God. Many people see the existence of space as proof against God's existence. This is one of the agendas the Masons have been pushing since the Age of Reason in the 1700s. In my opinion, looking at the moon landing footage just doesn't convince me we actually traveled to the moon. I also know that the Masons had a hidden agenda with the moon landing event. If we look at the Illuminati trading card game that was created in the 90s, we see just that. The Illuminati card game, for those that didn't see my video, was a card game made by Steve Jackson in 1995 that predicted several future events. If you want to know more about the card game, check out this video after this one. The moon landing is actually one of the cards a part of the game, and it depicts some interesting imagery. Like I spoke about in the video I made on the card game, the card shows the moon landing as a staged event. The card clearly depicts the moon landing being hoaxed, showing the moon landing being filmed in a movie studio, similar to what many people already believe. The card in the Illuminati New World Order card game was supposed to be moves to bring in the New World Order, and staging the moon landing strangely seems to be one of those moves. Now, when we consider the Masons were 100% behind the moon landing, and also the fact that they put it in a game that went on to predict several future events, it just seems to prove to me that this was all staged. Buzz Aldrin himself, the Mason that was sent to the moon, claims out of his own mouth that we never went to the moon.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. We didn't, because We did?
As you heard for yourself, Buzz Aldrin openly tells an 8-year-old girl we never traveled to the moon. It honestly appears the Masons had an alternative agenda with claiming to have gone to the moon, and it had nothing to do with the space race. It's obvious things were hidden in regards to the moon landing. Whether we truly went to the moon, to me, will remain a mystery. But one thing's for sure, those who run our world were behind it for their own sinister reason. Like I always say, we must remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. And we also must remember to help those who can't see the truth find the truth. Well, that's it for this video. I just want to once again thank Blinkist for sponsoring this video and remind you guys that if you'd like to sign up and get 7 days free and get 25% off an annual subscription, just use my link in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I just want to give a special shout out to the Truth Movement members. I truly appreciate every single one of you. If you'd like to further support the channel, join the Truth Movement, or you can join me on Patreon where I drop exclusive videos monthly. The link would be in the description. Another way you can further support the channel is by checking out the Truth Fish store and seeing if you find anything you like. Every purchase you make goes directly to helping the channel and furthering Truth Records. Also, please leave a comment on your thoughts below and on any future topics you would like to see me cover on my channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when I drop new videos. If you like this video, please leave a like as it helps other people find these videos. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram and follow me there for more truth. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.